Hey everyone, today I'm going to be updating my DCEU ranking for the second time in 4 months. It happens. This should probably go without saying, but spoiler alert. Starting off, number 10 is Suicide Squad. This movie is bad, but not completely awful. Most of the acting is good if not great. Jai Courtney is easily the best part of the movie, in part because he actually gets to use his native accent. Captain Boomerang is the only squad member who doesn't have an underdeveloped backstory. He's just an alcoholic douchebag, and Courtney plays that to perfection. Margot Robbie is perfectly cast as Harley Quinn, although I'm not a huge fan of her outfit. Viola Davis and Jay Hernandez are also good. Some of the comedy does legitimately work. Not much, but there are a couple good bits. Probably the best part of the movie is this shot of June Moon turning into Enchantress.
Enchantress.
That shit is awesome. I love Will Smith, and his performance is fine, but I just don't buy him as a bad guy. An alcoholic superhero, maybe, but not a supervillain. It just doesn't work. I mean, he is capable of pulling off that kind of role, he just didn't. The action scenes are a mixed bag. They're fairly well shot, but poorly edited. Speaking of which, the editing in this movie is bad and the pacing is atrocious. I shit you not, this movie has 2 first acts. It's weird. Beyond that, there's just so much shit that doesn't make any sense. This is a universe where Superman and Wonder Woman exist. This is a movie where Batman and the Flash have cameos. And yet when Enchantress has the power to literally end the world, somehow, they send in the Suicide Squad. The Squad is who you send after someone like the Joker, or, you know, the bad guys in the new movie, not a General Zod level threat. Leave that stuff to the actual heroes. Most of the squad has these compressed and generic backstories that are forcibly crammed in. Most of them aren't very interesting. The villains suck. And also, thanks to the reshoots, this movie's tones don't work. You can tell Suicide Squad was supposed to be a serious movie based on the first trailer, but then reshoots happened to make it more lighthearted and comedic, and instead of meshing, the tones just kind of clash against each other. It doesn't work. My score is 2.25 out of 5. Number 9 is Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. I know not everyone loves the super serious tone in Zack Snyder's DC movies, but at least this movie has a consistent tone, unlike the one we just talked about. The casting is pretty on point. Batfleck is badass, Gal Gadot is delightful, and Henry Cavill is awesome. Jeremy Irons, Lawrence Fishburne, Amy Adams, and Holly Hunter are also good. The action is the usual level of great I've come to expect from Zack Snyder. And same goes for the visuals. Say what you will about the color palette, the visuals are on point. The musical score is awesome. I love that the 3 main heroes and the villain all have their own distinct themes. And also the music leading up to the warehouse fight is awesome. Doomsday and Lex Luthor are meh, but I don't hate them. My score is 3.25 out of 5. Number 8 is Wonder Woman 1984. This movie is shamelessly bonkers, infectiously joyful, and painfully relevant in this day and age. It's also kind of a mess. Gal Gadot and Chris Pine are great as usual. Hans Zimmer's musical score is pretty great, the pacing is on point, and the action is pretty awesome. The areas where this movie manages to improve on the first Wonder Woman is with the villains and the final act. Cheetah is fairly fleshed out and developed. They could have done more with her, but I'll take it. Maxwell Lord is more fleshed out. Again, a little wasted potential there, but I didn't mind. And he was actually a pretty sympathetic villain. He's not evil, he's just easily manipulated. The final battle isn't great, but at least it feels like a natural continuation of the story, rather than an arbitrary fight against a CGI villain shoehorned in at the last minute by studio interference. Score is 3.5 out of 5. Next up, number 7 is Man of Steel. Look, say what you will about Zack Snyder. He is a style over substance director, although he does have some substance. Anyway, he actually managed to do something that at least one other, arguably better director failed to do. He launched the DCEU. Green Lantern was supposed to do that 2 years earlier, and that was directed by Martin freaking Campbell, the guy who gave us GoldenEye, Casino Royale, and Mask of Zorro. Henry Cavill is great. I know people complain about this portrayal because Superman has always avoided killing whenever possible, and that's still true in this case. This is a Superman who has yet to reach that point, and when he does, he gets there the hard way. The problem is people are comparing him to Christopher Reeve's Superman, which, okay, go ahead and do the comparison, but don't expect him to be exactly the same. Christopher Reeve's Superman was the American Boy Scout Superman. Henry Cavill's Superman is the immigrant Superman. Henry Cavill's Superman values life because he was forced to take one. When he kills Zod, you can see the anguish in his face, and you hear it when he screams. The rest of the cast is solid too. Lawrence Fishburne, Amy Adams, Russell Crowe are all great. Kevin Costner and Diane Lane gave us arguably the best live-action portrayal of Ma and Pa Kent. At least the best in the movies. I don't know about the TV shows. Michael Shannon is excellent, and Zod is definitely a top-tier villain here. And Ansha Trao somehow manages to outshine him as Feora Ul, which is not an easy task. The action in this movie is some of Snyder's best. It's visceral and exciting and well shot and well edited. And the flying feels more real than it ever has before. The music also helps. Hans Zimmer's score here is one of his best. My score is 3.9 out of 5. Number 6 is Aquaman. This movie is the cinematic equivalent of good overacting. It's over the top, it knows it, and it doesn't care. This movie is entertaining as hell. It's colorful, a little cheesy, and never takes itself too seriously. Speaking of colorful, the color palette in this movie is on point. Most of the acting is good, if not great. There are a couple performances that are a little wooden, but they don't have huge roles, so it didn't really bother me. Jason Momoa is clearly having a blast. He really is Aquaman. Patrick Wilson is excellent as King Orm. He is a great villain, gives Zod a run for his money. I hope I pronounced this right. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, Tamura Morrison, Willem Dafoe, and Nicole Kidman are all good. All the action is well done, but there are a couple fight scenes here that really stand out with the fluid camera work. And the final battle is truly epic. Most of the humor works, although there are a couple jokes that don't land. I also love the cliche dodge of when Black Manta's father dies. Usually when a character's parent dies and they go on to do something bad, someone asks them, "What would your dead parent think?" Well, in this case, his father told him, "You need to live so you can kill that son of a bitch." So if someone asked him that, he could say, "My dad encouraged me to do this. He wanted this to happen." Great little cliche dodge. My score is 4 out of 5. Number 5 is Wonder Woman. Like most of these movies, the cast is solid. Gal Gadot is delightful, Chris Pine is great, and Lucy Davis is hilarious. Also, like most of the other movies, the action is great. The slow motion is different enough from Zack Snyder's slow motion so that even if you're not a fan of Snyder's slow-mo, you'll probably like this stuff. The cinematography is pretty great and the choreography kicks ass.
Taking all the fire, let's go! 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 Down! Strike there! Strike there!
I also really like the humor in this movie. It feels like it naturally fits as opposed to being inserted to an already completed script. The musical score is one of the best in the DCEU. The villains are fine, I guess. My one big problem here is the final battle. I don't hate it, it's fine, but it's just another fight between the hero and a CGI villain. It was added because of studio interference, and the movie suffered a little for it. My score is 4.25 out of 5. Number 4 is Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey. This movie succeeds in a lot of the areas Suicide Squad failed. It's rated R, the tone is appropriate, and the stakes actually feel appropriate for the story and for the heroes. The conflict isn't some deity trying to conquer, destroy, or colonize the world. It's Harley Quinn dumping the Joker and losing her social immunity in the process. Margot Robbie is perfect as Harley Quinn. Jurnee Smollett-Bell and Rosie Perez are both very good. Ella J. Basco is surprisingly good in her debut role. And Mary Elizabeth Winstead steals the show, although I do wish she had been in the movie more. As for the villains, Ewan McGregor is wonderfully flamboyant and sinister, Chris Messina is very good as Victor Zsasz, and those two are clearly having a lot of fun together. The action is great. They get pretty creative with the fight choreography, like more creative than anything in the MCU so far, so good for them. The humor is pretty consistently funny. Harley and her egg sandwich is still a better love story than Twilight. I love that Huntress is your typical anti-hero out for revenge, but it's actually played realistically. She's socially awkward. She doesn't have quips ready on the spot. She has to practice them ahead of time. And I also love the running gag where people keep calling her the crossbow killer. The score is 4.5 out of 5. Number 3 is Zack Snyder's Justice League. This is a tale of epic proportions told with style and substance. I don't think it needed to be 4 hours long. They probably could have trimmed it down to like 3.5, but I don't mind. It's twice as long as Joss Whedon's cut, but it's worth every minute. Most, if not all, of the positive aspects of Joss Whedon's cut are also present here, making WB's decision to bring him in completely pointless. Like, definitively. Anyway, the lengthy runtime gives Snyder plenty of time to flesh out the new characters and some of the returning ones.
long afloat on shipless oceans, I did all my best to smile till your singing eyes and fingers drew me loving to your isle. Did I dream you dreamed about me? Were you here when I was forced out? Now my foolish boat is leaning, broken love alone on your rocks. Here I am, waiting to hold you.
Steppenwolf's appearance is finally as awesome as his voice, and he actually feels like a character as opposed to just a plot device. He has actual personality and goals and motivations. The CGI and the soundtrack are both much better than the theatrical cut, and Junkie XL's musical score is great. My score is 4.6 out of 5. Number 2 is Shazam. Or rather, Shazam! I love this movie. I keep saying this, but it's true. The acting is great. Zachary Levi perfectly embodies a boy trapped in a man's body. The other foster kids are all good, especially Grace Fulton. Cooper Andrews and Marta Millins have great chemistry, and they actually give us a positive portrayal of a foster family, which is something you don't see nearly enough in movies, so thank you.
Yes, exactly why your math department is so uniquely suited for me. I can't even with Eugene right now. Sorry. Mary, hi. College interview.
I'm Billy.
What am I most excited about? Oh, what a great question. I was hoping you'd ask.
Mention you're a foster kid. Colleges eat that up.
What I'm most excited about is the campus experience. As a foster child, I'm a big believer in finding family and friends in the most unlikely of places.
I'm gonna miss that girl so much.
Also, Jimon Hansu is a badass as usual. The humor in this movie is so damn good. You have Eugene not realizing it's nighttime because he's been playing for so long.
Die! Die! Die!
He doesn't mean that. It's a game.
Hey, no sodas after dark, remember?
Whoa. When did it get dark?
You have Shazam not being able to hear Savannah's evil monologue. Darla just being adorable. The action is well shot, edited, and choreographed, especially in the final battle when they all become heroes. The musical score isn't the best, but it's still pretty damn good. My score is 4.9 out of 5. Finally, number 1 is The Suicide Squad. James Gunn is a mad genius and a national treasure who must be protected at all costs. This movie is his masterpiece. There are no weak links in this cast. Sorry if I butchered this, Daniela Melchior is the standout here. She is excellent. She is easily the emotional heart of the film. Idris Elba, Margot Robbie, Joel Kinnaman, John Cena, David Dastmalchian, I hope I said that right, Viola Davis, Sylvester Stallone are all great, and the rest of the cast is good.
Yo, is this a dog?
What?
Is this thing a dog?
A dog?
Yes.
What? What kind of dog do you think it is, mate?
I don't know. I'm not familiar with all the breeds.
I'm gonna go with Afghan Hound.
Since when is an Afghan hound have bloody thumbs?
Oh my God, is it a werewolf? I wanted to meet a werewolf forever.
Yo, they turned me into a werewolf? Right. Yo, let me out. I do not a werewolf, bro.
Yeah, he's not a werewolf, okay? He's a weasel. He's harmless. I mean, he's not harmless. He's killed 27 children, but, you know, we got him to, I think he's agreed to do this. Whatever the case, just everyone get in a position to drop.
The music is great, the comedy is on point, and the action is wonderfully violent.
Non-lethal. You lose.
Exploding compression bullets.
No one likes to show off.
Unless what they're showing off is dope as fuck. Fuck.
It's well shot, edited, and directed. The main characters all have depth and arcs, and you care about at least some of them. And most importantly, the emotional moments genuinely work. My score is 5 out of 5. Hey everyone, let me know what you think. What's your ranking? Like and subscribe and all that. If you don't like the video, subscribe anyway so you can tell me how bad my other stuff is. That's all for today. Stay safe in these crazy times.